So, on Monday we was talking about the difference between the 5 faculties and the 5 powers. And the 5 faculties, in the sense of they are controlling their respective domain, and also the 5 powers, the Panjabalani, they are unshaken by the opposites. That means they are unshaken by their opposite defilement. So tonight we are going to look into the first of the 5 faculties, which is the saddha. Now before we talk about the saddha, then also it's good that just to go through a little bit now the past. This one. Okay, let me share the screen. All right. Now, here, as I said, that the faculties and the powers, they are different. They are different. Wait. Can you all see? All can see, yeah? All right. Now, the faculties and the powers, they are different in the sense that faculty of faith, they exercise the control on the area of resolution. That means how you go forward into your practice. Whereas in the skeptical doubt, which is the opposite. That means during this time when the 5 powers, when it's there, then the skeptical doubt cannot come in. They cannot come in. Now the effort, again here the exertion, as the opposite of laziness. Exertion here means it keeps all your mental states, your noting mind to be active. That means it keeps the mindfulness, keeps the concentration, effort, faith to be active. So mindfulness here, yes, this is a very firm and continuous presence of mind. That means your mind is really right in the present. Doesn't mean that it doesn't know everything surrounding it, it knows. But because of the concentration, it stays with the object of the meditation. It doesn't have that negligence. That means that if there are beautiful sound, beautiful sight, it does not flow into it and get caught into all this type of all these default objects. Concentration as non-distraction. That means it stays with the object of your meditation as opposed to agitation of the mind or the restlessness of the mind. When the mind does not able to stay. Wisdom here, that the mind can able to discern, to penetrate the true nature of things as they really are. It knows the hardness, softness, how the hardness changes. It go more or it go less, or it disappear, or how it comes. This is called discernment. Delusion, if you do not have the discernment, that means your mind is just mindful, but you do not know anything about the object. So let us look into it a little bit more. Now, in the balancing of the faculties, one is that for the powers, you don't have to worry about balance. All you need to do is that the further that you go, the stronger that those components become, the 5 components become stronger. So the opposition, the defilements cannot able to penetrate because they're strong. But the faculties are different. Faculties in the sense that you have to kind of like sort of like balance them. If not, if you don't balance them properly, when they overdo, then because you open up the gap there, then the defilements will start coming in. Yeah? So here as a faculty, so in the practice, we are more focused towards the faculties rather than the spiritual powers. But once in a while, you can see how the spiritual power work. And as I said, that I give you a few examples on Monday that sometimes if those who are meditating and if those who are meditating for some time, then once in a while you may see that the thinking mind that they want to arise, kind of like want to arise from the background. You know that they are coming. Just by mindfulness there, then they sort of like disappear and gone. Sometimes you can see how the powers are working. So the faculties here, that this is the one that it needs to be balanced too. Now, the Buddha also talked about this balancing of faculties in different parts of the sutta. Now, one of the sutta is called the Sona Sutta. The simile of the lute. Now, let me go to this one. Let's stop the sharing, and then I'll share with you the sutta. Okay, can you all see? Okay, hold on now. There. This is called the Sona Sutta. This is the Anguttara 655. That's right. 655. Now, in this one, I mean, it's not easy to read everything, but let's see. Okay. Thus have I heard, on one occasion the Blessed One was dwelling at Rajagaha on Mount Vulture's Peak. Vulture's Peak, if you go on to the India, to the Buddhist circuit, one of the places they will take you is the Vulture's Peak. You really have to climb. You have to walk up a little bit. Now the path is very nice. And if you cannot walk, they'll still got the sedan chair for you, and they'll carry you. No, and on that occasion, the Venerable Sona was dwelling at Rajagaha in the cool grove. Then while the Venerable Sona was alone in seclusion, the following course of thought arose in his mind. I'm one of the Blessed One's most energetic disciples, yet my mind has not been liberated from the taints by non-clinging. That means it hasn't attained Nibbana, full Nibbana, not an Arahant yet. Now there is wealth in my family, and it is possible for me to enjoy my wealth and do meritorious deeds. Let me give up the training and return to the lower life so that I can enjoy my wealth. Wait, I got to remove this. And do meritorious deeds. Okay. Having known with his own mind the cause of thought in the Venerable Sona's mind, just as a strong man might extend his drawn-in arm or withdraw his extended arm, the Blessed One disappeared on the Mount Vulture's Peak and appeared in a cool grove in the presence of Venerable Sona. The Blessed One sat down on a seat prepared for him. The Venerable Sona paid homage to the Blessed One and sat down to one side. The Blessed One said to him, Sona, when you were alone in seclusion, didn't the following thought arise in your mind? I am one of the Blessed One's most energetic disciple, yet my mind has not been liberated from the taints by non-clinging. Now there is wealth in my family, and it is possible for me to enjoy my wealth and do meritorious deeds. Let me give up the training and return to the lower life, so that I can enjoy my wealth and do meritorious deeds. This thing is, yes, Bhante, okay. Now tell me, Sona, in past, when you live at home, weren't you skilled at the lute? Yes, Bhante. Well, what do you think, Sona, when its strings were too tight? Was your lute well tuned and easy to play? No, Bhante. When its strings were too loose, was your lute well tuned and easy to play? No, Bhante. But Sonam, when its strings were neither too tight nor too loose, but adjusted to a balanced pitch, was your lute well tuned and easy to play? Yes, Bhante. So to Sona, if energy is aroused too forcefully, this leads to restlessness. And if energy is too lax, this leads to laziness. Therefore, Sona, resolve on the balance of energy, achieve evenness of the spiritual faculties, and take up the object there. Yes, Bhante, Venerable Sona replied. Okay, so after that, I don't want to go through. It's still a long more, because it thought until the Venerable Sona attained the arahantship, and then after that, after he attained the arahantship, he went back to the Lord Buddha and spoken more things. But what I want to tell you, to go through a little bit also, is this commentary of this sutta. Okay, let me remember. Okay, hold on. Now, commentary on this sutta. You see 1368 here? Now, this is a commentary on the balancing of spiritual faculties. Let me take you there. Okay. Can you see 1368 on the top there? Okay, good. Now you don't have to worry about the first paragraph. What is important is the second. What is important is the second paragraph. Resolve on evenness of energy. What it means by the MP here means the commenter, the commentary for that sutta. So it says that what the Buddha meant by resolve on evenness of energy means resolve on serenity combined with energy. Serenity here means concentration, or samadhi, samatang. Virya sampayutang, samatang. Adita. The meaning is link energy with serenity. Achieve evenness of the spiritual faculties. Keep to evenness, a balance of spiritual faculties of faith, etc. When faith is linked with wisdom and wisdom with faith, when energy is linked with concentration and concentration with energy, then the balance of the faculties is maintained. But mindfulness is useful everywhere, so it should always be strong. Seize the object there. When such balance exists, the object can arise clearly, like the reflections of one's face in a mirror. And you should take up this object, bring forth the object of serenity, that means the samatha object, of insight, the vipassana object, of the path, the magga, and the fruit, phala. And thus the Buddha explained the meditation subject to him, leading up to arahantship. So you don't have to worry about the next paragraph. This is a comparative on this Samyutta Nikaya. So here, even the commentary is talking about the balance of the faculties in more clearer manner. All right. Now, let's just go back here to this one. Now here, balancing the faculties, then you must always look at mindfulness as a group. Second, faith and wisdom. Third is effort and concentration. This is an important aspect because if I don't single out mindfulness, then when you come to the practice, when you arouse effort or arouse concentration, then you arouse it without the mindfulness. Or when you want to arouse concentration, you arouse it without that mindfulness. And that is dangerous. That is not good. Not to say dangerous, that is not good. Because if you arouse them wrongly, then it can be problematic. And later part, and when it comes to, especially faith and concentration, we're going to look into when you do too much, when you're missing that mindfulness, you do too much, what are the things that is going to come up? How are you going to detect them? What are the symptoms? How are you going to rebalance that? And how are you going to achieve that balance for a period of time? We're going to talk about that, and therefore that one, it really comes into the practical aspect of it, the practical aspect of it, and you cannot get those things just in the books, because each and every one of us is going to be very different. It's just like you're cooking, when you're cooking, even though you look from a menu from a book, you're cooking so many steps, but each one of you are going to cook a slightly different taste isn't it? Who's going to put more, add in a little bit more salt, or you're going to put in the fire a little bit more or less, a little bit, everything different. So too, like, right, this balancing of faculties, it's like something like that. It's about experience it again and again and again and again until you know how to bring the faculties into balance in the most quickest time possible. In the quickest time possible. Because that in the beginning part, when you want to learn how to do all these things, you're gonna take you some time before you're able to achieve the balancing. So again, by practice, just like everything else, by practice, you get much more better. There's no such thing as perfection, no. There's no such thing as perfection. You thought that time, you thought that, everything is balanced already. You think everything is going to soon already. After that, 10 minutes later, things is going to go haywire again. And then you got to start balance again. So, because as I said, these faculties, they are impermanent, or even these powers, they are all impermanent. So because of their impermanence, the conditions coming and these faculties changes. So you're not able to detect the state of mind. Okay, all right. So this unbalancing of the faculties, this is important. And it's always important, as I said, the mindfulness. Everything that you do, you must connect it with mindfulness. Connect it with mindfulness. And that is crucial. Even like later part, we're going to talk about when, especially the effort and concentration, we must know how to exactly arouse that effort. At the same time, how to arouse that mindfulness at the same time, and let it come together, so that they can come into a state of balance or concentration, not in concentration, but must bring it together with mindfulness. Then the practice becomes so much more balanced, interesting, and onward going, leading forward. All right. This is the balance. We're going to look into it. So the first part of it, we're going to look into faith and wisdom. We're going to look into faith and wisdom. And of course, within there, we're going to inject mindfulness into it. You cannot run away from mindfulness. Okay, let's look into faith first. All right, faith, saddha. Saddha here, or sometimes in Pali you use the word pasada. Pasada. Pasada here, it's sometimes, if you are Adibhidhamma scholar, you also use the word pasada. Here, this word pasada here, they are what we call the sensitivity. Eye sensitivity, ear sensitivity, nose sensitivity. Those are also pasada. I think there's another word, pasada, but you have to pronounce it slightly differently, I think the word is this. S-A-D-A. Slight change of a word now. This one, it becomes like castle or throne. You know, like the Malay word, Malay word is persada, Persada here means in the Malay, it means a throne of a king, persada, throne of a king. So, well, you see, they are connected. Per it means a bit long. So the pa means pa. No, it's not pasad. It's a long a there. It's a long a there. So this one is another word. If you don't have the long a, pasada. If it's just a, then it means another thing. It's going to mean deer. You see, the word itself, if you're just missing one A, no A, or this one, it could mean totally different thing altogether. Anyway, this is a Pali, a Pali. Okay, anyway, okay, delete this off. Okay, what is important here? When we want to get this. Now, sada here, this is faith, this is confidence, or sometimes in English you use it as conviction. As I said, this faith, you all have to, when you use the word faith, or when you look into it, especially with the Buddhist text, you have to use the word faith as different from the worldly context. You must different from the worldly context, because the worldly context does not represent sada, may not, or mostly not represent sada. I wouldn't say totally zero, but mostly it doesn't have the connotation of what the Buddha or what the Dhamma meant by sada. So you must take it from a different light, from not from the worldly perspective, but from the way of what the Buddha meant and the way of the practice. So anyway, we still use the word faith, or sometimes people some translator use the word confidence, conviction, something like that. Now, this is a wholesome mental state. As a seed or the beginning of your development, of your path actually. Even if you look into Abhidhamma, even if you look at the Abhidhamma, it tells you all the wholesome mental state. Faith is the first one. Faith is the first one. Because it's not by coincidence. It's not by coincidence, but the faith is the first one in the Abhidhamma, because it is mentioned in the sutta. It is mentioned in the sutta that faith is connected to a seed as a simile, like a seed or a beginning, or the beginning of your journey into the Dhamma. It's the whole beginning of it. The text here, one of the very good, nice one, of the sutta, which I think it's nice to show you, but I have to change my book first. Wait, where was it? Okay. Okay, I have to stop the sharing. Okay, let me go to my this one first. Okay. All right. Let's go back. Share the screen. Oops. Share the screen. Okay. You see the Kasibara Wajah? Okay, that one, the lay followers. Okay, what is important here is that, this is still quite a long sutta, but it's an interesting sutta. This one talk about, the Brahmin, which is a farmer. It's a big time farmer, I would say. It's not a small farmer, 1 or 2 land. This is a big land. He got many cows. He got many plows. He got many yokes. He got many all these things. It's a big time farmer. But then this Brahmin, he doesn't like the Buddha because it says that you see, and the Buddha came near to him for a reason too, actually, because the Buddha knows that he's going to have, his part of his spiritual development is going to ripen. So the Buddha purposely goes to him, the background of the story. But anyway, the part is here. This is spoken by the Brahmin. Recluse, I plow and sow, and when I plowed and sown, I eat. You too, ascetic, ought to plow and sow. Then when you have plowed and sown, you will eat. This paragraph, it's for centuries. We monks also get this thing. Sometimes people do not know why we just meditate, walk, sit, sleep, tomorrow again, meditate, walk, sleep. What are you all doing? How come you're not going out for work? How come you don't earn your living, and so on and so forth? Similar with this one. Similar, very similar. So this is how the Buddha replied. I too, Brahmin, plow and sow, and when I have plowed and sown, I eat. But we do not see Master Gotama's yoke or plowshare or goat or oxen. Yet Master Gotama says, I too, Brahmin, plow and sow, and when I've plowed and sowed, I eat. So then the Brahmin said this, okay? But I don't know how. The thing is that it repeats again. Then the Brahmin, if you are a plowman, answer me. How should we understand your plowing? Then the Blessed One said, okay, faith is the seed. Austerity is the rain. Wisdom is my yoke and plow. Shame is the plow. Mine is the yoke. Hiri, Hiri is the pole. The word shame here, hiri, mindfulness is my plowshare and goat. Guarded in body, guarded in speech. I control it in my appetite for food. I use truth as my weeding hook and gentleness as my unyoking. Energy is my beast of burden. It's just like they use the oxen or bull. This one, energy is my beast of burden, carrying me to the security from bondage. It goes ahead without stopping, to where, having gone, one does not sorrow. In such a way, this plowing is done, which has the deathless as its fruit. Having finished this work of plowing, one is released from all suffering. Then, from there, the faith of the Brahmin arise. Let Master Gotama eat. Then the worthy is a plowman, since Master Gotama does plowing that has even the deathless as his fruit. Okay, so the thing here, within this here, it mentioned that the faith is the seed. The faith is the first one. Then only you start off by other thing. Now let us go to the commentary also. The commentary also spoke about something. Do you see the 461 here? SPK means again the commentary. The commentary for the Samyutta Nikaya. Why did the Blessed One begin with faith? Because this Brahmin was reputed to be intelligent, but was deficient in faith, thus a talk on faith would be helpful to him. Why is it faith called the seed, Saddha Bijang? Because it is the foundation of all wholesome qualities. When a seed is planted in the ground, it becomes established by its root, sends up a sprout. Through the roots, it absorbs the soil's nutrients and water, and it grows through the stalk in order to yield the grain. Coming to growth and maturity, it finally produces a head bearing many rice grains. So faith becomes established with the root of virtue and sends up the sprout of serenity and insight. Absorbing the nutrients of serenity and insight through the root of virtue, it grows through the stalk of the noble path to yield the crop of noble fruits. Finally, after coming to the growth through the 6 stages of purification and producing the sap of purification by knowledge and vision, it accumulates in the fruit of arahantship, bearing many discriminating knowledge and direct knowledges. Therefore, it is said, faith is the seed. On austerity and so on. So, you see, faith is the seed. Faith is the beginning of everything. Now, where am I? So, it begins with this faith. All right? Faith is the beginning. So that means here it begins to your journey getting out of samsara, journeying into the understanding of the Dhamma, having the understanding, we develop the virtue, we develop the mind, the bhavana, and finally attain the path and the fruit, and we get out of this cycle of birth and rebirth. So it is the seed or the beginning of our path here. Now, it is always to be supported by wisdom, even at the ordinary level, whether it's more or less wisdom. So here it is good that when it's supported by wisdom, then it comes into a stage of balance. Because if it's not, then the faith can turn into something else, which looks like faith, which is then here is the adhimokkha, or the word is resolution. We used the word just now earlier on, or determination. Okay. Now here, to understand this, when your faith is firm due to having wisdom or understanding, then it becomes firm or grounded in the triple gems and the training of Sila, Samadhi, and Panya. This faith has to come with understanding, and together with that adhimokkha, then it turns into the triple gem. A later part, we're going to look into that further. Now, adhimokkha without saddha, that is where we usually use the word blind faith, which is again, it's kind of like a confusing, because this one is without saddha, without the actual saddha. But in the worldly context, it's just blind faith. Blind faith here, here you can have, because this word adhimokkha, this adhimokkha here, if you go through Abhidhamma, it may not be wholesome or unwholesome. It sits like in the middle. It depends on what it mixed with. If it mixed with saddha, because saddha is a wholesome mental quality, it's always a wholesome mental quality. It's not a mixture of whether here nor there. It's always wholesome. So when saddha becomes with adhimokkha, then the whole mind becomes wholesome. But if adhimokkha without saddha, then it becomes problematic. Because if this adhimokkha comes with wrong view, then you kind of like your mind also looks like it is firmly on that wrong view. It looks like faith, but it's not. It looks like faith. For example, you believe that there's a God that creating all of us. There's a big God and creator God and so on. That they have this one. So here is one thing is wrong view, and you place your resolute and you determine on that wrong view. So it kind of look like it looks like saddha, but it is not. It is not. So it's important for us to understand this both part, because because the saddha meant for something wholesome. Even let's say you do not know about the Buddhism at all. Let's say you do not know about Buddhism, and then you come to hear about karma, cause and effect. You come to hear about karma. Then here there is something wholesome. An object is something wholesome, and you have some degree of trust and some degree of saddha into it, which is good. Which is good. Because that understanding brings about further development. It goes parallel with the reality. But whereas you're going to place a so-called faith, or you place a conviction, a so-called conviction, into something that is not there, does not exist in reality, and you place upon it, that is not saddha. So this one, you have to make, you have to take note of this thing. So it is important that when we have saddha, to have it usually comes with adhimokkha, and you don't have to purposely go and do it. Hold on. So it needs this saddha and adhimokkha, and you're going to push this one forward. Okay, so this is what I mean here. Now we're going to look into saddha a little bit more. Now here, saddha as a characteristic. Sorry, let me go up a little bit. Okay, let me move this thing to the side. All right. Now, saddha as a characteristic here, placing the conviction or trust. What do you mean by this one? What do you mean by this placing conviction or trust into an object? Into an object. Say, for example, sometimes you may see people, you may see one or two person, sometimes they are right in front of the Buddha Rupa, and then they put Anjali together and they look at the Buddha. When they look at the Buddha, whatever, for whatever reason they go into the mind, then don't worry. So when you see that, they kind of like the whole, the characteristic of faith is being shown. That mind that is the mind and the body is there on that particular act, that's connected with the Buddha. The conviction or the trust is there. This is a simple example. The simple example. When you go into the deeper example, for example, when you are practicing especially like bhavana. Then that time you place your trust into, let's say, the object of rising and falling. And you know that because of the past, that you have seen this rising and falling give rise to so many patterns and change and so on. And so your confidence, the trust that you place on the rising and falling is very real. And that time it comes with resolution also. It comes with firmness on the, the mind is firmly noting on the object of the rising and falling. Because you have gained some degree of progress in the past. But then where else, those people who have doubtful about the rising and falling, then they doubt about whether it's taught by the Buddha or not, or the Buddha didn't teach rising falling, the Buddha only teach in breath out breath, and then all your practice is wrong and so on. Or sometimes people may convince you or try to convince you, then says that, oh, because you don't practice jhana, you don't have jhana, then all your rising, falling, your in-breath, out-breath, all wrong, all not right, But then if you do not have proper grounding, proper grounding or proper faith or conviction in your practice, then you are easily swayed by these people. Because you thought that, oh, in the Dhamma, there's always a jhana, this jhana, that. Here I don't practice any jhana. How come? And then you get very doubtful. You become very indecisive. You become very neither here nor there, and then you begin to notice, okay, hey, am I practicing correctly or not here and there? That because insufficient practice, insufficient trust into this one. The trust comes with the wisdom, because the wisdom, you have wisdom, you will progress. The progress, when it comes, your firmness of this one becomes stronger. So placing conviction or trust. The function here is to clarify like a water filter. In those days, we use the alum, like kind of like you drop into the water. The old days, all your mud, everything will settle down to this one, and then the water become very clear. Nowadays, we don't use alum anymore. We use the water filter. Depending on the filtration, how big is not to say how big, but not the capacity, but how good is the sieve, how good is the filter. Sometimes it can filter, sometimes some filter can filter your only bacteria, but not the virus. Some even can filter the virus out. Sometimes even can filter everything out, So to clarify here, to clarify is that when your mind, let's say, for example, doubtful about, let's say, hey, should I take up metta or not? Should I take up vipassana? No, should I take up jhana? Should I go and practice, get jhana or not? While you're meditating, your rising, falling, this one is clear, then you say, hey, don't think about all these things. Don't think about all this. Say, go back to your rising and falling and just keep watching. And then when you do that, the moment you're able to notice, and the whole rising, falling has become clear and changing again, then that time all the thoughts of this type of doubt are totally gone. To all gone. So the mind becomes clear. It becomes non-foggy, like a manifestation. It becomes clear, non-foggy. Here again, another one is to set forth. To set forth, idea is like you set forth, like for example, like you're crossing a flood. Here the flood of samsara, Now set forth here, that means when you have a certain faith, a strong faith that, hey, this life, I must attain Sotapanna. Suppose I don't attain Simun Kamguan, that type of mentality, you are not going to have less than that. That is set forth, you already you set your goal clearly. And some of you here, Bante Bela, Bante next life, next life, next life, next life, next life. So, set forth, fear means set forth, that means you have a firm determination that this life you're going to, at least you kautim the first path, You're going to kautim the first path. And you work hard for it. That means you are setting forth, and you're going to cross that flood, the flood of samsara. So this is what it meant. So that type of sada, when you have that clarity and you set it with that, with that adhimokkha together, then it's where all your practice will start. So non-fogginess, non-fogginess here, as just now I mentioned, is that when your mind is clear, your all this doubt and indecisiveness does not come and disturb you. They're all put up, they're gone away. And then when you set forth that you say, I'm going to meditate, I'm going to this one and so off, then whichever your parents or your wife or your husband or your children would tell you, hey, don't go lah, we do not get to see you, how come you go for so long? Then they complain, not to say you don't hear, but because you have that strong energy, you want to go forward. You want to go forward. Some people, some yogis, meditate. After 1 week later, oh, Bante, I miss my husband already, Bante. Hiyo, see, Yogi meditate like that. I miss my children and then see them for 1 week already, Bante. How? Can I text them and not see how they are? Or not? Hiyo, see, yeah, you see how strong is your faith in the practice. You see, so you don't have to, when you have that clarity in the mind, when you want to, let's say you want to finish that 2 weeks, it's a 2 weeks retreat. So you try to best your 2 weeks. Don't let all the worldly things and come and kacau you, or don't you can kacau the whole, you can stir up all the desire again. Because after a number of days, your desire has settled in. Don't go and deal with all this, thoughts of your family, thoughts about your work, thoughts about your career, thoughts about your business, and all these things, put it all aside. 2 weeks only, it's not asking you to have a whole life become a nun or a monk or a nun. Be monk and a nun, you've got to set your mind very clear, because this is a career path also. It's not just only your career path is all earning money and so on and so forth. Our career path is to reach Nibbana or to realize Nibbana. This is what the Buddha meant. So we have to set our sight clear. We cannot become monk halfway already. Not to say you want to disrobe. But then you think that, hey, maybe I should go and do a lot more service, do a lot more missionary work, help people, then forget about my meditation. Then the mind becomes indecisive. Although you are still doing a lot of wholesome deeds, you are still helping people, but your path has strayed a little bit, So you think that, never mind lah, since I meditate so long already, here now I can go and help people more and more. So the mind is sort of get attracted to the worldly things, although spiritual, but in a way worldly. So you got to, it becomes like a fog, It kind of like a fog where it blurs you from your actual goal. So it is important that even whether you are a monk or a lay person, that your mind is having a clear goal. And when you have a clear goal, you set forth, you keep going. You set that, you start going forward and so on. So this is non-fogginess. It removes all the mental impurities or come in as a resolution. You're going to push, go forward and things like that. So this is important for us to understand. Proximate cause. The cause that brings about that faith quickly is to place something to place faith in, whether it's tangible or intangible. Here's something place faith in. Intangible means like for some people, that when you offer something, say for example, you offer food, or you offer rice, or you offer dishes, or you offer your place for somebody to stay, or a monk to stay, or a nun to stay, or you offer a robe to a monk or a nun, or you buy something proper for this one, because you believe that generosity is good. You believe that generosity is good, so you place the faith in there. You know that this robe is useful for the monk because of that wisdom that you have. And then this robe is is good for the monk, and you give it. So you place the faith onto the robe, and also you place the faith onto the generosity, and also you place the faith in the Sangha. In the Sangha, the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha. So here is what it meant that you place the faith in something tangible or intangible. Sometimes it cannot be touched. Some you can be touched. Proximate cause. Again, this is hearing the Saddhamma. Saddhamma means the good Dhamma or the right Dhamma. The 4 factors of a Sotapanna. Now, when you associate with the wise, then when you associate the wise, then only you listen to the good Dhamma. If you associate with the fools, then you listen to all the worldly things. Not to say they are fools. I mean, fools sometimes a bit harsh word, but that's what the Buddha used. But sometimes you associate with a lot of worldliness. Then it may not be it may not lead you out of the cycle of birth and rebirth. It leads you more into the samsara and more into the world. Say for example, if you listen to the how to make more money. During MCO, you cannot go out anywhere you want, but you still want to make more money. So how do you make more money? They teach you how to make more money. You can go into the share market, you can play Bitcoin, you can set up an online shop, you can do this and you can do that. Not to say, it's good for present situation. It's still a worldly thing, you still need to survive, but it's not necessary for this one. It's not necessary for enlightenment and so on. But sometimes devotees also very pandai one. This is what somebody told me. No money, no insight. No money, you stay outside. You stay outside of your meditation, you cannot come. You no money, how are you going to pay for your meditation fees also? So no insight. Sometimes I listen to them. I don't go and fall into all these things. Even if we are COVID right now, even if we are in the state of lockdown right now, if you have that strong faith to really meditate, you can convert your whole house or your whole room into a meditation center. It's just that we got other things to do, we got other things to do, and we got this and that to do, and so on, So if you are really resolute to really meditate, you can find ways to how to overcome your food. Who's going to cook your food for you? How are you going to cater the food for you? How are you going to do this and all that? You can do everything if you want to. It's just that you don't want to. So COVID is not an excuse, actually. Anyway. Now, we come back to the 4 factors of Sotapanna. The 4 factors of Sotapanna here, you have to associate with the wise. When you associate with the wise, then you get to hear the right Dhamma. You hear what they call the Saddhamma. Either nowadays you listen or you read about them. You listen to read about them. And then it's good for you to do that. Then, not only that, you must have wise attention. That means you must have wisdom. Here, in the sense of wisdom here, you must able to have wisdom into your everyday things. Sometimes, like for example, you're eating. Should I eat too much, or that you should be moderate? Then how much is moderate? Then you have to know for yourself in the ordinary sense. By wise attention, in the practice sense, this one is more of you are noting, you're paying attention to your object of your meditation, whether samatha object or a vipassana object here. But if you go into thinking about impermanence, thinking about dukkha, that one is not the type of wisdom that is needed for during meditation. But the type of wisdom needed in the everyday life, then you can reflect about impermanence, you can reflect about dukkha, you can reflect about this and that. So that one is also a form of wise attention. But then this wise attention, we're going to talk about that when it comes to wisdom. When we're going to see what type of wisdom is important. And here, it's the practice accordance to the Dhamma. Practice accordance to the Dhamma. That means you have to make effort. You got to make effort. You have to have virtue. Your sila have to be intact. You have to make an effort day in, day out, day in, day out, day in, day out. Then until the path of Sotapanna, or path and fruition of a Sotapanna. So therefore, when you associate with the wise, you build up your conviction, confidence, and so on. So this is important for us to understand. Sometimes this association with the wise, let me talk a little bit. I think I spoke about that a few talks ago, and listening to the good Dhamma. Sometimes I said, sometimes you all as lay people, you like to use Facebook and so on, and sometimes you like to share. And you just click the button share, and then it's become on your timeline, and then you share something on the, words of virtue. You see words of virtue and something like that. Very nice sayings about virtue, very nice saying how you deal with life and everything, which is very good. Not to say that it is wrong, But then after that, you put underneath there, it's shared by somebody, and somebody may not be Buddhist, maybe other people. Although you thought that one is nice, but when people read your timeline, they also look at who is talking about it. So they will go into research about that person, And then that person, when you research about that person, his views or her views may be connected to wrong view. In the sense that it may say that, about this morality and all that thing, but then this is God says one, God tells you to be this one, God tell you to be that one, or this God or this Almighty or this What it tell you all these things. It tell you something about forever. Tell me something about permanent. Something about self connected with that morality that you share. Yeah. So sometimes, I mean, hard to draw the line, these things. But you don't realize that you have a bigger implication than what you just share. So something for you to think about. So nowadays, even though sometimes some monks that mention, not Theravada monks, but other sect or anything, when they share something nice, I also have to be quite careful, because I know some of the monks or nuns, they have all kinds of weird views, in the background. So you've got to be careful, So it may not be the right Dhamma, although in the front it may look right. Yeah? Okay. This is something like that. Wow, already 10 o'clock. Never mind. Talk a little bit more. Perhaps you're going to talk back on this again. Now, there are 4 levels of saddha. And this is good because that you have to, because this is where the balance will start coming in. Understanding this, the balance will start coming in. Maybe we'll. Now, these 4 levels of pasada, or saddha. The word here, pasada, or pakati saddha, pasada saddha, or pakati saddha, sometimes it's translated as serene faith. Then number 2, you have, it goes stronger and stronger until number 3. It goes stronger. Okapana saddha. Here, trusting type of faith. That means the word is empirical. That means you have to see things as they are. That means you have to directly see. Then this is what they call the level number 2. Adhigama saddha. That means this is unshakable faith. There's one word is this, is avijja. Avijja pasada. Unshakable faith, which are unshakable. Attainment faith or unshakable faith here, avijja. Sometimes you will see that avijja pasada quite a lot. When a person attains the unshakable faith, this is the direct translation from the Pali, avijja pasada. Agama or agamiya saddha, agama saddha, agamana saddha or agamiya saddha, ongoing or oncoming faith. This is for the bodhisattva. Unless you are a bodhisattva, then we can talk about number 4. Since all of you, I think, may not be a bodhisattva, then you don't have to worry about this number 4. What is important is 1, 2, 3. The first, second, and third. The 4th one, the bodhisattva, is that this type of faith, it goes on life after life, life after life. That means the goal of attaining the Buddhahood, it's from life after life, life after life. It once that proclamation by the past Buddha to that particular person, that particular person will become a future Buddha, and then he achieved that agamana saddha or agamiya saddha, or this ongoing faith from there onwards. Then for the Gautama Buddha, it has to take 4 asankhayas and 100,000 world cycles to attain the Buddhahood for a long period of time. Some Buddhas take about 8 asankhayas, some Buddhas take about 16 asankhaya. You have no idea how big is an asankhaya. It's a huge, long time. It says that it seems some people go and calculate it. Don't know if you put 1 and how many 0 at the back, 24 0 or something like that at the behind. Yeah, the word the numbers have become too blur already for us, for our mind to compute, too blur already. So it's just like, it's very long. But not only that, not only that, but before you get that proclamation, it also seems that according to the chronicles of the Buddha, that for 100,000 lives or so, you have to, or 100,000 lives or so, you have to think that you want to become a Buddha. You think first, you think for 100,000 lives. But that time you haven't gone into the proclamation of the Buddha yet. Then another 100,000 life, you got to speak about it that you want to become a Buddha. Then after that, another 100,000 lives, you have to act like you want to become a Bodhisattva. We want to become a Buddha. Buddha. So that even before you get a proclamation from the Buddha, from an actual Buddha, so you have to do the background part of it. Now, this part here, not to say that you are wrong, but you're going to take a long, long time. Some people, they plan to become a Bodhisattva. We hear of certain Theravada monks or or many of the Mahayana monks, and they want to have able to be a Bodhisattva and finally to attain to help beings. But then there are certain controversy here. If you want to become a Bodhisattva, actually it's not wrong. It's not wrong. But you have to take a very long time. But what is wrong here is the view that is wrong. Certain view that is wrong. That some may believe that you're going to help all beings. All beings. There's no exception of it. Only all beings have reached Nibbana, then you will be the last one to reach Nibbana. And if you have that thought, that is wrong. That impossible. But if you want to become a Bodhisattva without that view, you may still be right, actually. So the thing is that is the view, that type of view, it sounds interesting. It sounds like very, you are really for others before yourself. It sounds nice, but it's a form of a wrong view, actually. Why? Because you are still here. You and I are still here. You and I are still here. There are countless Buddha in the past. You are still here. Yeah. I don't think that in the future, beings will all be safe. No. There's no such thing as zero samsara. No. There's always will be beings in samsara because of its condition. But nevertheless, this bodhisattva thing, we don't have to go through it. Later part, and when it comes to the next week, we're going to talk about the 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we're going to see also how the balancing part, and sometimes how this is the balancing part. We're going to talk about saddha and also wisdom. Is not more or less, It's not like you are looking at concentration and effort, when you should reduce, when you should push, not like the but this one, it's more like which one is suitable and which one is not suitable for a certain period of time, for the particular time. It's more like suitable or not suitable. Then it becomes slightly imbalanced, in that sense. So that one, we're going to talk about that in the next week, Monday. All right. So this coming again from Friday again, we're going to have a Q&A session. Now, if you have any questions about the Dhamma, about the things I have talked, but you're not sure, then you may ask. Okay. So we stop here.